In today's video, we're going to make a beautiful caramel plum upside down cake. And this cake just reminds me of my school days because I think everyone in school made a pineapple upside down cake. So we're just going to give it a little twist with some caramel and plums. Here we go. So to begin, I'm starting with 7 plums and I'm going to put my knife in and just take it around the stone. Give them a little twist and then I'll remove that stone. So with the plums prepped, we're now going to move on to making our caramel. So we'll place a skillet and this is what we're going to bake the cake in. So this is going to create the base or the top of our cake. So we'll place that over a low heat and then we'll scatter in 150 grams of caster sugar and we'll leave this to melt and turn into a nice light caramel. You could use light brown sugar for this, which will be much easier and it'll turn into a caramel much quicker. So you use whichever you prefer or whichever you find easier. Once it starts to caramelize, you can just move it around so the sugar gets into the heat spots. Once your sugar's completely melted and you've got a nice amber coloured caramel, you can place in 50 grams of unsalted butter and then mix that through. And you can now remove it from the heat. We're now going to place the plums face down into the sauce so it covers the whole base of the pan. Now that we've got our plums and caramel ready, we'll move on to making a very simple sponge cake mixture that will go on top of this. And I'm going to start by placing 175 grams of unsalted butter into the bowl of my stand mixer. And we'll then add in 175 grams of caster sugar and 10 grams of vanilla bean paste. Mix until the mixture becomes light and fluffy. Once your mixture looks fluffy and lighter in colour, you can start incorporating the eggs. I like to do this gradually, just add a little bit at a time while mixing. So next I've got 175 grams of self-raising flour. If you can't get self-raising flour, you can just use plain or all-purpose flour. And for every 100 grams, add 1 teaspoon of baking powder. And I've also got 60 millilitres of milk, and this is just going to help lighten up the mixture. So we're going to add these in at the same time gradually. So I'll start with a splash of the milk. And I'll sift in a couple of spoons of the flour. And then I'm just going to fold that through. And when I'm folding, I do 2 circles going around on the outside and then 1 cut through the middle. 1, 2, and through the middle. And that way it just seems to incorporate nicely into the mix. And then once that's incorporated, add a little bit more milk and a little bit more flour and keep going until it's all used up. And now we can place the cake mixture on top of the caramel plums and spread it out. So I'm just going to dot it around using a couple of spoons and then spread it out to cover the full surface area. We can now place the cake into a preheated oven at 170 degrees Celsius fan for 35 to 40 minutes, or until it's golden on top and a skewer comes out clean. So now the cake is out and all we have to do is turn it out and reveal that lovely plum top and caramel that is on the bottom of this pan. So to begin, I'm just going to go around the edge with a palette knife just to make sure it's not going to stick there. And actually I don't think it is going to stick. Famous last words. And then I've got a sheet of parchment paper. I'm just going to place that on the top and then a board over that. Now you've got to remember to be really careful when you do this because there's hot caramel at the bottom, the pan's still hot, so we need to be super careful. Make sure you're nicely set up and then we just have to go for it. So, heavy pan. Here we go. Right. We are flipped. And let's hope it comes out nicely. I think it's good. Oh, look at that. let's cut a slice and see what it's like inside. So that's my caramel plum upside down cake complete. And you know what? I think it looks really good, and I'm sure it's going to taste amazing as well. So I hope you give this one a go. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.